Okay, so we'll begin with the ISUP protocol. Okay, ISUP stands for ISDN user part, and this protocol is basically for the call setup between the network element. Okay, so before we jump into this ISDN user part, let us understand what is this ISDN. So it's integrated services digital network. It's basically just like our standard telephone system is there to deliver just a voice call. There was a requirement for additional services like video, data, fax on top of the existing simple voice calls. So there was a requirement for supplementary services, and for that purpose, ISDN came into picture, and it gained importance among the office, mainly the enterprise customers. It did not percolate well with the households. Common households still had the normal voice system, but this ISDN part, it gained importance with the enterprise customers because there was requirement for supplementary services like call conferencing, call transfer, and all those things. It came with the ISDN. Okay, so ISDN basically formed that network with additional um, capabilities apart from voice, like video, data, fax, etc. Okay, and for this purpose, there used to be just like our standard phone at home. There used to be a separate device in the office for those are called ISDN phones, and they had lot other capabilities. Okay, now I'm not going deep into the ISDN things, ISDN related protocols, but just to make understand the basic structure of ISDN user part, I'll just introduce you to the simple protocol which is used in the ISDN network. Okay, so suppose this is the ISDN phone, and this is the exchange 1, exchange 2. This is another phone. Okay, so the protocol between phone to the exchange, this is called user network interface. The protocol between this endpoint and this endpoint, that is the exchange, and the telephone, this is called user network interface. And the protocol which is used between these exchanges, that is called NNI, or network to network interface. This we learned in the first chapter itself. Okay, now the UNI which is typically used with ISDN is called DSS1, and the NNI which is typically used is called ISUP. Okay, so ISUP is basically the network to network interface for providing the ISDN services. Now this ISUP protocol, now DSS1, this is a typical user network interface protocol. So you can just from the API perspective, you can think of it like uh, all the telephone related APIs are there. Like when telephone goes off hook, when somebody dials, there is an API for dialing. There is an API for answering the protocol, answering the call, and like that. Okay. So this is just for integrating with the endpoint. So that is not the material for this course also. So just for the basic understanding, understand that it is a protocol between the endpoint and the exchange. The ISUP protocol, which is the network to network interface protocol, this protocol, it can work with MTP, it can work on top of MTP3, or it can work on top of SCCP, depending on the service which is required. Okay, it can work on top of SCCP also and MTP3 also. For basic call setup, since this ISUP message, it needs to be processed at each and every node. So right now here I've shown only two network exchanges, but it is possible that they are not directly connected. The A and B, they are not connected via just two exchanges. There are 10 exchanges, n number of exchanges in between. So at each hop, the ISDN processing is required. That means the ISUP message is received, and that ISUP message is decoded, and a new ISUP message is created for the next hop. So this kind of processing is called link by link processing. Okay, link by link processing. This is required in typical call setup. Okay, so let's suppose A dials a number. That number will go in the DSS1 message to this exchange, and this exchange will create the ISUP message. Okay, and that ISUP message will address to the destination number. Okay, now that destination number has to be analyzed in each and every hop, each and every exchange in between. Okay, so this kind of process for call setup, link by link processing is done. Okay, each and every link, each and every hop, after receiving the message from the link, it will be decoded till the ISUP layer, and then based on the destination number, the further addressing is done. So it is required to be processed link by link. But there are some messages which are not required to be processed link by link. They are called end-to-end processing. For example, if there is any message that requires to be handled only by the endpoint and not the in-between exchanges, in that case, it has to be processed only by the endpoint, and not the in-between nodes. Okay, these are called user-to-user signaling, UUS. Okay, user-to-user signaling. This means there is some information that needs to be passed from one user to another user. So it does not require any processing in between. And for those type of messages, end-to-end processing is done. Okay. Now it is not mandatory that end-to-end processing cannot be done using link by link processing. But the other way is not possible. Okay, because let's suppose for end-to-end processing, the message has to be handled at the end, but it can be handled in between also. So it is just a useless message processing which is happening at every end. Okay, and there are other examples also for this end-to-end processing. As we go along with each type of message in ISUP, it will come across. Okay, so for the time being, let's just understand this much, that there are two kinds of processing in the ISUP procedures. One is link by link processing, another is end-to-end processing. And generally this DSS1 and ISUP, you'll find there is a lot of similarity in the protocol, and this similarity is precisely because ISUP was meant to transfer the bits and information which is there in the DSS1 protocol. There will be exact one-to-one mapping for several things from DSS1 to ISUP. Okay.